Hi, Empaths. My name is Dr. Eileen, and I am an intuitive empath and an intuitive spiritual therapist. I am hoping that all of you empaths are doing great. I'm hoping that you're experiencing peace, joy, love, and light in your daily experience. These are your encouragement tips for Sunday, November the 14th through the 20th, which I believe is a Saturday of 2021. We are winding down. The year is coming to a close, and let's see if we can finish strong. So these encouragement tips are designed to basically just encourage empaths, to give you food for thought and to give you suggestions and tips so that you can navigate your empath journey a little bit easier. I certainly don't have like a cap on, how to do this empath thing, but I've been an empath my whole life. And all of the empathic sensitivities that most of us experience started occurring in my life when I was very young. So I've been experiencing empath sensitivity, and I've had to learn how to navigate it since I was really, really young. I mean, I can remember being 4 years old and having experiences that I guess to my family were a little bit unusual. Come to find out, they're not unusual for empaths. So anyway, this is my contribution to try and help the empath collective. I certainly hope that it is helpful and helps you feel supported and maybe encourages you along the way. So today's discussion centers around empath lessons. And the lessons that, we have to learn in order to protect our energy field so that we can be effective in the world with our service work. Also, so that we can actually protect our energy. Without exception, empaths are born of love. This beautiful trait can be especially difficult to embody when you're born into a family that's chaotic, doesn't have good boundaries, and maybe pure love isn't their energy signature or their priority. Maybe they don't move through the world that way. Some families are cutthroat. Some families are dog eat dog. Some families are all about business and very serious. There's no hugging. There's no affection. We don't show emotion. So as an empath, if you're born into one of these types of families, it can be extremely overwhelming, and you can question, what's wrong with you? Why are you here? You can feel like you're from another planet. That's very normal. Why were you born into this family? Were you adopted? These questions come up all the time when empaths are trying to figure out, why am I so different? Why am I the black sheep of the family? Why am I so different from everyone else? You, empath, come into this world with an open heart. You're vulnerable, you're compassionate, you're soft-hearted, and most often you do show up with very poor boundaries. And this is because you have a naive approach to dealing with people, initially, because it's a learning curve. We have to learn how to interact with others. Our family members are our first teachers. And we learn to navigate emotional sensitivity, usually by the way our family members react to us when we are overly sensitive, or we are, perceiving an experience very differently than the rest of them. It's not uncommon for family members or friends or teachers to be just, they're like, get over it. Why are you still sad about that animal, that was hit by a car? Or why are you so upset that, okay, yeah, we had an earthquake, but why are you so bothered by that? It was just an earthquake. Get over it. You know what I mean? And we're like, because we're feeling, the electromagnetic frequency of the planet, and not just the fact that there's an earthquake. We can feel that the planet is sad, or that there's going to be shift occurring that people aren't ready for. I mean, we're on another level, and it can be very difficult for others to get us, and very difficult for us to find our niche in life when we feel like people don't get us. So certain personalities and experiences are going to toughen you up along the way. But there's a learning curve. And this can be a very tough cycle, learning how to set boundaries and stay grounded and be comfortable in your own skin. There's so many things to learn. This cycle helps us to grow into becoming a much wiser being and how we handle different types of people in different situations. Certain people, though difficult, they were our greatest teachers. You know, whoever those people were, the ones that made your life difficult, the ones that created strife and struggle, those that were judgmental or extra critical or extra hard on you. Maybe you were bullied. Whatever the experience was, those harder personalities that were tougher, that called us weak or meek or didn't get it, you know what I mean? And why are you so whatever? They actually, in a weird way, were doing us a great service because they were helping us to toughen up and anchor in who we are, and at some point be okay with who we are, unapologetically okay with who we are, comfortable in our own skin, regardless to who thinks what or feels what, you know. But again, it's not easy because the empath, with the naivete, wants everyone to, it's not that we need everybody to like us, but we don't want to hurt anybody. We don't want to hurt anyone. Our nature is kindness. Our nature is love. We don't want to offend people. And we certainly, it really bothers us very deeply if we're misunderstood, if our intentions are misconstrued as being something nefarious or, you know, malicious or having some kind of agenda. That's very heartbreaking to us because that's just so not who we are. We really do have this open heart. And so learning that not everybody's going to see that, and a lot of people are not used to kindness and compassion and empathy, so they don't trust it. They don't trust you. And so you automatically become the enemy, or they'll accuse you of being fake, you're wearing a false persona, or there's all kinds of, you know, mean, horrible things that people do and say. At some point, part of the learning curve is just like being so comfortable in your own skin, you really could give a rat's, you know what. You don't care. You don't care that people think you're fake. I mean, you do, because you're not. You really do want to help the planet be better. But you learn to stop investing in those individuals that drain your energy or who don't have the capacity to witness you and see you. And at some point, instead of caring what they think and investing in what these others think, you just recognize them as a great teacher, helping you along the way, strengthening your empathic skills and knowing, and you keep moving because we've got a job to do. And it's a beautiful thing when you become like a locomotive and you know what your assignment is and you know what your mission is, and you just focus on that, and you recognize that the universe, the divine, will bring people, circumstances, situations, opportunities, places, events, whatever is needed to support you in your journey will always be there. And if that doesn't show up, it's because you were meant to do it alone. And at some point you get comfortable being alone, and you learn to anchor in the fact that you're alone, but you don't have to be lonely, because there are a lot of other beautiful empaths and other souls that do have the ability to witness you and see you and support you. So you were born with innocence, purity, vulnerability, and openness. You were born that way, born of love. And as beautiful as this is, these qualities don't match everyone's energy. So when the frequency is misaligned, okay, it can be very draining and exhausting to you as an empath, but it can also be exhausting to those others that don't get you, because they're trying to get you or understand you, but they don't have that vibration and frequency to land in your energy field. They're on a different platform. You're basically two different structures, energetically, spiritually, emotionally. And so when the frequencies are misaligned, it can be pretty draining, because people just simply don't get you, and that exhausts them as well. They don't understand how you move through the world. And for some people, this creates internal conflict. The fact that you move through the world very differently, the fact that you see the world very differently, and the fact that you actually want to move from a place of love and healing, can really create an incredible amount of cognitive dissonance and internal conflict for those who aren't there yet in their personal spiritual growth and journey. And so when they experience this internal conflict, they want to act it out. And the way they do that oftentimes is judgment, criticism, or disrespect of you and your light. It's so important to note this. This is a powerful lesson, because when you know that there's a certain percentage of humans that aren't aware yet, they're not conscious, they're not awake, and they don't have an internal energetic platform for your energy signature to land in their field of experience, when you get that, you stop wasting so much time being frustrated and sad and hurt and burdened that there's a percentage of people on the planet that don't get you. And you, with compassion, you love them, understand where they are, allow them to be where they are, and you keep it moving because you've got work to do. And you're not here to, like, being too worried about the people that don't get us and don't understand us or are judging us, like putting our energy there. It's it contaminates our field, and it's a waste of our time and energy. We are light. We've got some serious power to bring to this planet. We're here to ignite the planet with our frequency in a gentle way, but it's very, very powerful and very, very potent. And when we're like looking over here, distracted by the people that don't get us, see us, understand us, they don't want to see us, they don't want to get us, they don't want to understand us, and we're sad about that and we're burdened about that, that's actually draining our energy, and it's a waste of time and energy and your beauty. So for this reason, empaths have to learn to be unwavering light, unwavering, just shine bright and be consistent and be steady. But at the same time, you want to learn to protect your light from the energetic vampires. So your goodness is lovely. You're lovely, you're beautiful, but the human collective is a mixed bag of energy and intentions. And if you continue, spinning your wheels, you will experience frustration and exhaustion, as well as meltdowns of the heart. So we want to learn to pull ourselves out of these cycles, these circular, being on the hamster wheel, continuing to date the wrong people, continuing to invest in the wrong people, continuing to care what people think. One of my mentors says, care, but not that much. Care, because we're caring, but not so much that it's going to drain you and pull you off course. Like, if people's opinion of you is not supporting the mission, and if their actions towards you are not helping you remain in that highest light, that highest vibration and frequency, you want to care, but not that much. You don't want to care so much that you get frustrated. And here's the big test. It's like a maze, being an empath. You want to learn to care big, 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 like have so much love and so much light and so much compassion, and yet be so detached from people's ignorance, disrespect, racism, you know what I mean? All the lower vibe emotions, all that stuff. You want to love big, and we're capable of doing this as empaths. Love big, shine bright, and yet be completely detached from anything toxic where it could contaminate your field. So you want to learn to care and be that healing light without allowing any of that energy to infiltrate your field. So there's a huge learning curve, right? So many things, so many protections, white light prayer and meditation, pure heart structure, high intentions, high vibe emotions, happiness, joy, passion, bliss, things that light you up. So you have to learn to replenish your energy. And as you learn to replenish your energy and remain in your bubble of protection, your white light of protection, then you find that there's less pain and heartache associated with doing your service work. As you recognize the difference between assignments and alignments, it becomes less difficult because you see clearly. When you recognize that a person or situation is an assignment, then you understand that that assignment is temporary and you stay in your lane. Assignments have a limited capacity to match your energy, and this is why they're temporary. Another way of saying this is that because your assignments are temporary, they will only have a limited capacity to match your energy. This is huge. We want to remember that. When you meet people or interact with humans, recognize some are alignments. Those are few and far between. People who of high vibration frequency, like-minded souls, probably other empaths, at the very least, high frequency, high vibe, awakened consciousness, pure heart intention, pure heart structure type people. When you meet them, they have the ability to match your energy. And then you create this bubble, this vortex of love and light. And you two or three or however many of you are in this vortex, you can vibe off that energy and support one another, even if you're in the four different corners of the world. Like, let's say there's a tribe of four, okay, and you are all doing your service work in four different areas of the world, or four different, just whatever, platforms or structures. And you may not see each other often, you may not talk often, you may only connect 4 times a year, but when you connect, you reignite where you left off, and you always create that vortex of energy. It's very, very powerful when you have alignments in your life. They're very different. They feel very different than your assignments, okay? Now, your assignments, you have a lot of love for them. You want to show up. You want to help them. You want to teach them. You're there to teach them or mentor them or share your energy or share your wisdom with them. But when you recognize they're an assignment, you also know that that is temporary. So it's going to come to an end. It's going to come to a close. And your only job with your assignments is to share your light, teach what you can. Hopefully they have the capacity to not only hear you and receive from you, but integrate the information that you're sharing or the energy that you're sharing so that they can use it for whatever their life path is. This is so important for you to remember, so you maintain realistic expectations when you deal with others. If they are an assignment, they're going to have a limited capacity to match your energy, and it's okay. It's divinely orchestrated. You just pour in and you give what you're supposed to give, and when the assignment is over, gracefully depart from that particular assignment because you're no longer called to that. Also, remember, when your assignment is over, always cut cords, release the energy that was tied between you. You're not cutting off the relationship, you're cutting off the assignment is over and it's coming to an end, closure, and then replenish your energy back. So we humans that are empaths, we want to be at 100%. We want our energy tank like a fuel tank for a car. We want it to be full at all times, 100%. So with the day-to-day ebb and flow of life, sometimes we're at 40% or 60% or 25% or 75%. That's just life. You know, life comes and we give energy and our tank isn't full, but it's your job as an empath to replenish your energy and make sure you're back on full daily. The energy that you have, your bubble of energy, is actually for you. It's not for anyone else. So that's a whole other thing. I'll be talking about that in the future. How do we help people as empaths and not actually drain our energy? What energy do we use? Well, I'll give you a hint. It's the energy of the universe. There's plenty of it. There's an infinite number of supply. So when you are giving to your assignment, you want to learn to draw from the infinite supply as opposed to draining your own energy field. You want to keep your energy at 100%. This really makes a huge difference in your life force, in your physical health, in your emotional well-being, and that energy drain that we were talking about earlier. You'll experience a lot less of it if, when you are working with people or healing situations or working on projects as an empath, if you're drawing from the infinite supply of the universe and collaborating with the divine, as opposed to feeling like it's all on you and you're pulling from your own energy, that makes things so much harder. You start hard timing it that way. So big learning curve again. So what else do I want to share? So if you invest, past the energetic expiration date that the divine, the universe, has called you to with a particular assignment, you're going to experience energy drain and disappointment. You're also going to find that the person that you're trying to help begins to either go backwards or start experiencing resentment. Something chaotic will happen in the relationship because it's no longer aligned. So pay attention to divine expiration dates. Learn to keep your channel clear and pure, so that you can read the energy, the ebb and flow of the energy, so that you can know when it's time for you to start pulling back. When you're naive about this, you will cut it back because you're drained, and it will be a sharp cut. It could be a sharp cut that they feel, and then they're offended and upset, and they don't understand why you're not engaging the way you did before, and then you feel bad because that's not really how you wanted to show up. So you want to learn to read the energy, so that as the winds of change begin to flow, you sense them and you begin to start pulling back your energy gently and slowly, preparing that person to soar with their wings, let them fly on their own without being codependent on you, instead of it being a sharp cut. You can, after the assignment is over, then cut the cords, dissolve the cords, release the energy, so that you can replenish anything that you gave out back, and you send them off with love and light. So if you honor yourself and you give yourself sacred periods of rest, and you replenish that energy that we're talking about, replenish your field by reinvesting in yourself, you'll find that your inner power begins to rise in a very beautiful and very sacred way. This power that begins to rise in you is very deeply healing for you and the environment that you are doing your service work. So a healed, whole empath has the ability to stimulate great transformation. And what do I mean by great transformation? Transformation in the heart space, new perspective, new thoughts, new feelings, a sense of creative ability and creative action. Now, some of you empaths are really, really powerful world changers. I want to acknowledge you. Some of you are very, very dedicated, intentional, powerful. You were born of love, and you were born, empowered, because love is truly the most beautiful vibration and frequency, and it can create great change. Miracles occur when there's true love. So some of you are great world changers. This is how profound you are. Some of you are very unique, and the people and community around you, whether they realize it or not, they may never meet someone like you again, ever. So when a person interacts with an empath, this moment may never come again. We don't know. It might. But some of you are extremely powerful and extremely unique. So just know, dear empaths, that you do matter. And whether it's validated by humans or not, the divine universe sees you, witnesses you, and is supporting you in every way, every step, validating you along your journey. Stay strong, stay empowered, even when it's hard. There are great lessons to be learned, and yet you were born with the capacity to learn those lessons and integrate everything you need to, so that you can stay on track. Your light is profound, and not everyone is going to teach or counsel in the traditional ways. So some of you empaths, you will be channeling the divine and offer love, light, and healing through creativity. It's not always writing books. It's not always teaching or doing conferences or doing like life coaching and things like that. Of course, it is for some. A lot of empaths I know are nurses. A lot of them are holistic healers, acupuncturists, yoga instructors. There's all these beautiful ways, dance teachers, that people show up and offer their empath gifts. A lot of us are therapists like me. But what's strongly coming into the field, and I'm so excited about this, is that I want you to consider, those of you that don't feel like you're going to be teaching in a traditional way or counseling in a traditional way, and you don't feel like you're called to be a nurse, but you're wondering how you're going to offer your energy. So, your right brain is activated, and this will resonate for some of you. You know who I'm talking to. Those of you who this resonates with, your right brain is very active and you're feeling very creative. So I want to acknowledge those of you that this feels like it's in your field. Poems, music, spoken word, plays, theater, outdoor theater, and musicals, short stories, skits, pottery, photography, painting, sculpting, artistry, or plant artery, plant artistry, floral design, and creative healing with animals. So, a lot of people work with emotional support animals, but even if your animal isn't, certified as an emotional support animal, are there creative things you can do with animals? People love, well, not everybody, but a lot of people love working with animals. It just brings some healing, just being around them. I had rabbits. I used to bring rabbits into my therapy sessions. I used to bring my dog into my therapy sessions. I didn't bring my cat. I don't think he would have liked that. And one of the facilities that I used to manage, we would take our clients to a place called Wolf Connection, which is located in California, where these wolves, they're real wolves, just being themselves, they offer a lot of healing light. They're like little shaman wolves. They're natural wild wolves, but they've learned to be somewhat comfortable with people, and people come and get healing. And animals are so interesting. When I've been to a lot of animal ranches and at a lot of animal farms that were geared towards healing. And so when people have a lot of either mental disorders, mood disorders, personality disorders, or they're just going through a hard time, grief, loss, breakups, it's interesting how animals will often pick up on that and begin to gravitate towards the person that needs healing. It's very beautiful. So those of you that love animals, as an empath, some of you may become veterinarians, right? But that's not the only thing you can do. Some of you as empaths, and there are animal empaths, where you will be working with animals to help heal animals, sea life and horses and whatever animals. But some of you will partner with animals to help heal humans, and that's very beautiful. So consider that. So those of you that are creative empaths, imagine sharing your offerings this way, right? This will resonate with some of you. So you are learning, and you will have to learn how much power you have. You've got to learn your power. You've got to study your power and cultivate your inner strength and sharpen your boundary setting skills. Get them sharp as a battle axe, your boundary setting skills. Be able to say no when you need to say no, and learn not to feel guilty about that. As you learn how to stand in your power, you can still be kind, you can still be compassionate, you can still be love, you can still be light and still say no. Do this with strong boundaries, and you will begin to balance polarities. Okay, this is a very important aspect of what we do as empaths. We balance polarities. You will establish equanimity in situations that you participate in. So compassion and kindness, along with justice and fairness, you as an empath can bring that to situations, circumstances, and events. This is another big, big lesson for all of us empaths. Match people's energy. Don't overgive. Match their energy and require them to match yours if you're going to continue investing in them, over time, your energy, your resources. If you're going to invest these things in their direction long-term or continuously, then people need to be able to match your energy. If it's a one-time thing, one-time gig, or, just a couple of times you're going to be investing and giving because it's a short-term assignment, then it's okay if they might not be able to match your energy. If they're deep in depression or experiencing grief and loss, they've just had a trauma, they're probably not going to be able to match your energy right now, and that's fine. But long-term investments, to protect your energy, you want to set boundaries, and they do have to match your energy. It doesn't mean even, Stephen, like they completely, bring all the light that you bring, but they need to be able to express some level of appreciation, gratitude, demonstration that they want to receive the light that you're sharing with them. If they are late, like, I'm a therapist. If clients are late for sessions and they didn't bother to call me or text me or email me to let me know what's going on, or if they just no-showed for sessions, that is an indication of how they feel about our session and how they feel about my time and my energy. And that can't be tolerated, and because I show up, and I'm consistent, I'm so blessed to have a lot of clients and they match my energy, they work with me and we're generally on the same page. And that's just because I'm in partnership with the divine. So the divine brings me clients that want to experience light and healing, the way that I offer it. So it's a blessing to them. It's a blessing to me. So I want to end with, this is your light, your life force, your empath gifts. This is your light. You are responsible for honoring it and respecting it. And if you do, dear empaths, the divine universe will match your energy and support you moment by moment. So these are your empath tips and lessons for this week. I am hoping all of you are just doing great on your empath journey. I'm sending you lots of love and light. May you all sleep peacefully. When you sleep, may your cells and your organs regenerate. May you just rest and really integrate during the sleep hours how profound you are and how powerful you are. May you release what no longer serves, and may you always receive your portion, what you need, so that you can fulfill your service work with joy, bliss, happiness, and of course, love. Blessings. I'll see you again. Have a great week.